My son had no idea his warehouse worker father owned $72 million.
Imagine this. Your own child, the one you sacrificed everything for, looks you in the eye and calls you a broke, pathetic old man. They tell you to move out of your own home, the home you paid cash for. They do this because they think they know everything about money, and they see your old truck and work clothes as proof that you've failed. What they don't know is the house is just a distraction. What they really want is the life they think you owe them. But here's the thing. I didn't just let them take it. I made 3 phone calls, and within 48 hours, I taught my entitled son a financial lesson that cost him his job, his confidence, and the illusion of the easy life he thought it was waiting for him. My own son, Michael, looked me dead in the eye and said I was a broke old man who needed to stop embarrassing his wife's family. I'm Henry Walsh. I'm 62 years old, and for the past 15 years, I've been playing a role my son bought without question. He thought I was a simple warehouse worker, barely scraping by on a pension. What Michael didn't know was that I owned the warehouse he thought I worked at, and the other 47 warehouses across 12 states, plus the entire logistics company that runs them all. That company is worth around $72 million. When he told me I had 30 days to pack my things and move out of what he called his house, I didn't argue with him. Arguing wouldn't have helped. Instead, I made 3 phone calls. This story is about the difference between giving someone everything and actually teaching them the value of anything. That lesson would end up costing my son more than he ever imagined. The facade. Most people, including Michael, see exactly what he sees when they look at me. A guy in his 60s who drives a beat-up 1998 Dodge Dakota with rust spots and a cracked windshield. I wear simple work pants from Tractor Supply and boots that have seen better days. I bring cheap grocery store flowers to family dinners and always turn down the expensive wine because I say I can't tell the difference between a $15 bottle and a high-end one. That was all by design. I wanted to see if my son would ever look past the facade. Michael is 32, has an MBA, and is a regional sales manager at a big tech firm, pulling in about 200 grand a year. His wife, Sophia, is 29, an interior designer who drives a $70,000 BMW and has a strong opinion about everything, from my haircut to the fact that I still use a flip phone. They constantly compared my simple life to their flashier one. Sophia would often tease me about my ancient technology. She once spent 20 minutes trying to convince me to get a new phone, saying, "Dad, we can't even text you decent photos of your future grandchildren with that thing." She was convinced I was just being stubborn, but the truth is, I just didn't need anything fancier. It worked fine. I had been watching them for months. The first real warning sign came 8 months ago at Thanksgiving. Michael started referring to my house as the family home in conversations with Sophia's parents. Then it became their future investment property, and finally, just our place. "When Sophia and I take over the property, we can finally renovate," she announced one day over turkey. "You can downsize to something that makes sense for your income level, Dad. Something that makes sense for my income level." Those words stuck with me. They're words of judgment, of arrogance. They remind me of those YouTube videos I sometimes see pop up, the ones titled "Entitled Kids Get Shocking Reality Check." Michael and Sophia were living that exact video. The second sign was when Sophia posted photos of my living room on her Instagram. She has 14,000 followers, mostly other designers and lifestyle people. The caption read, "Tackling a major renovation project." Sometimes family members resist change because they don't understand modern value. The comments were brutal. People called me an old-timer, saying I was holding on to the past. Sophia screenshotted the worst ones and texted them to Michael. "See, even professionals agree your dad's being unreasonable." What neither of them realized is that I'd been watching. I saw Sophia showing off the custom kitchen I had installed 5 years ago, talking about her renovation plans like she was doing me a favor. The master bedroom where Michael grew up was now described as our sanctuary. The backyard workshop where I taught Michael to change oil and fix fence posts was now earmarked for a meditation garden. In her world, I was a stubborn old man who got lucky by inheriting a decent house and somehow managed to hold on to it. Michael tells people I'm blue-collar, simple, and that I don't really understand how money works in today's economy. He thinks he means well, but it's pure condescension. Right, the breaking point. The real breaking point wasn't the Instagram posts or the condescending comments, or even the assumption that I'd just hand over my house. It was what happened 6 weeks ago when Michael and Sophia brought her parents to my place for dinner. Richard and Patricia Morrison. Richard owns 3 car dealerships in Houston. Patricia sits on charity boards and makes sure everyone knows it. They walked into my house like they were touring a rundown fixer-upper. Richard immediately started pointing out problems. Foundation could be settling. Roof looks original. This HVAC system is probably costing you a fortune in energy bills, Henry. Sophia was taking notes on her phone. Michael nodded along like an eager student. Dad, Richard's offering to connect you with his contractor. Guy friend rates. You could probably get this place fixed up for under 50 grand if you're smart about it. 50 grand? Like I had that kind of money lying around? Dad doesn't really do big purchases, Sophia explained to her mother. Fixed income, you know. Patricia gave me a sympathetic, pitying smile. Henry, have you thought about what happens when you can't maintain the property anymore? My church has information about senior housing options. Very affordable senior housing. I run 6 miles every morning, but Michael jumped in quickly. Actually, Dad, that's what we wanted to talk about. Sophia and I have been discussing our 5-year plan. We need more space. Her design business is taking off. We're thinking about starting a family soon. This house would be perfect for us. Perfect for them, in my house, and where would I go? Well, you could move into something smaller, a condo, maybe, Sophia offered. Sophia's company works with several developments that have units under 200,000, much more manageable for your situation. My situation. The situation where I supposedly can't afford my own home. Richard leaned back in his chair. Henry, I'm going to be straight with you. Property values in this area have skyrocketed. Your house is probably worth 700, maybe 750,000 now. That's a lot of equity for someone on a pension. You could sell, give Michael and Sophia a good deal as family, and still have enough to live comfortably in a smaller place. He added, plus you'd be helping your son build generational wealth. Isn't that what fathers are supposed to do? Oh, I smiled and said I'd think about it. I was calm, but inside, I knew exactly what Michael had triggered. The threat and the plan. The email came at 6:15 the next morning. The subject line was chilling. Moving forward with property transfer? Dad, Sophia and I have talked to a real estate attorney. We found a solution that works for everyone. You deed the house to us now, we let you live in the guest room for up to 2 years while you transition, and we'll cover your moving expenses when the time comes. Richard knows a financial planner who can help you manage the proceeds. We want to start the paperwork this week. They want to start the paperwork this week. For my house. The guest room in my own house. I called Michael immediately. Dad, did you get my email? It's 6:30 in the morning. I know. I wanted to catch you before work. We need to discuss this. There's nothing to discuss. Sophia and I have thought this through carefully. This is what's best for everyone. Richard's attorney already drafted preliminary documents. Best for everyone or best for you? Dad, come on. You're 62 years old. How much longer can you realistically maintain a 3,000 square foot house? The property taxes alone are probably killing you. Try 16,000 a year. Michael's voice got sharp. That's exactly my point. You're house poor, Dad. You're sacrificing your quality of life to hold onto a building. We're offering you a way out. A way out of my own house? And if I say no? Dad, don't make this difficult. Richard's attorney looked into it. Texas property law is complicated, but there are provisions for family transfers, especially when the current owner isn't able to properly maintain the property. We can do this the easy way or the complicated way. Oh, are you threatening me with legal action? I'm trying to help you face reality. You drive a 25-year-old truck. You shop at Walmart. You haven't taken a vacation in years. Meanwhile, you're sitting on $700,000 in real estate equity that could change both our lives. This isn't about taking something from you. It's about smart financial planning. He hung up. I sat in my kitchen, the same kitchen where I taught Michael to make pancakes when he was 7, and realized my son genuinely believed he was rescuing me from poverty. The documents arrived by email at noon, dressed up as care and concern. Property transfer agreement and cohabitation arrangement. I had 60 days to sign, or they'd pursue alternative legal remedies to ensure proper property stewardship. Property stewardship for the house I built with my own money 23 years ago. I walked to my home office and opened the filing cabinet. The documents were exactly where I left them. Walsh Logistics Incorporated Articles of Incorporation from 2008. Property deeds for 48 warehouse facilities across 12 states. Bank statements from First Republic showing liquid assets of $41.3 million. And the Bloomberg profile from 18 months ago titled The Invisible Freight Kings of the South. I spread everything across my desk, took photos with my flip phone, and finalized my plan, making the calls. The first call was to Margaret Chen, my attorney for 20 years. Henry, what's wrong? You never call during business hours. Margaret, I need documents prepared fast. Michael's trying to take the house. What kind of documents? The kind that teach my son the difference between inheriting something and assuming he deserves it. I need this to be a quick, clean lesson. And Margaret, this property, the one Michael is trying to claim, I want it transferred into the Walsh family trust immediately with specific terms for occupancy, and make sure everything is bulletproof. She was quiet for a long moment, then she just said, "Consider it done, Henry." The second call was to Robert Patterson, the CEO of Walsh Logistics. He runs the daily operations. Robert, we need to accelerate the Patterson Industries acquisition, both the Irving facility and the Plano warehouse. Full cash offer. Close in 48 hours. Henry, that's aggressive. Patterson's been negotiating for months. I know, but I need the Irving warehouse operational under new ownership by Friday. Michael works in that building. He doesn't know I own it. Robert understood immediately. Oh, this is about your son. Say no more. I'll pull the trigger. The Irving warehouse was Michael's place of employment. Selling that particular asset wasn't just good business. It was strategic. It would affect his company, which would directly impact Michael's perceived success. The third call was the hardest. I called Dr. Susan Martinez, the family therapist Michael and I saw briefly after his mother died. I needed an emergency session documented for tomorrow, and I needed her to witness something that was going to be very difficult for me to do. It was vital that someone objective understood my motivation wasn't malice, but a desperate final attempt to save my son from his own entitlement. By sunset, everything was in motion. Michael had no idea the storm that was coming, the dinner party revelation. The dinner party was Sophia's idea, a celebration, she called it. 20 people at my house, her design clients, Michael's co-workers, Richard and Patricia. Everyone was drinking expensive wine. Sophia had hired a catering company and introduced them to my kitchen like she owned it. Michael was in an expensive suit. I showed up exactly on time wearing my work dickies and a flannel shirt from Tractor Supply. I carried a six-pack of Shinerbach, $7 at the gas station. Sophia met me at the door. I saw the panic in her eyes. Henry, you're here. I thought you might want to change first. Change into what? Something more. Appropriate. The Morrisons are here. Michael appeared behind her, already looking embarrassed. Dad, maybe just put on the blue shirt I bought you for Christmas? The Nautica one? This is fine, I said, walking past them. The room got quieter when I entered. I saw Michael's boss, Trevor, who makes $300,000 a year. I saw Sophia's biggest client. I saw Richard Morrison holding court. Henry, Richard called out, loud enough for everyone to hear. Glad you could make it. Come here, let me introduce you around. He steered me toward a group of his friends. This is Michael's father, Henry. Henry, this is James, owns a construction company, and David, he's in commercial real estate, and Thomas, private equity. They shook my hand with that careful politeness rich people use around working folks. So Henry, Richard continued, what do you do? Work at a warehouse? Sophia appeared with a glass of wine for me, from the cheap bottle I noticed, not the good stuff everyone else was drinking. Have you always been in warehouse work? Thomas asked. The question was polite, but you could hear the classification happening. Most of my adult life. Honest work, hard on the back though, I bet. James nodded. Sophia jumped in. Henry's actually thinking about retiring soon, aren't you, Henry? We've been helping him look at his options. Options like what? David asked. Downsizing, Sophia said smoothly. This house is really too much for one person. Michael and I have been talking about taking it over, helping Henry transition to something more manageable. The conversation continued around me like I wasn't even there. Everyone discussing my future, my house, my finances. Richard Morrison cleared his throat. Actually, everyone, that's partly why we're all here tonight. Michael and Sophia have some news. Michael stood up, pulling Sophia with him. Dad, we wanted to tell you with everyone here because they're all part of our support system. Sophia and I have decided to start our family. We're going to need the space. We're moving forward with the property transfer. We've already talked to attorneys. Everything's arranged so you can stay comfortable during the transition. The room erupted in congratulations. I stayed seated. Michael noticed. Dad, aren't you happy for us? I'm curious about something, I said. The room got quieter again. Michael, how much do you think this house is worth? He looked confused. We had it appraised. $740,000. And how do you think I've been paying the mortgage for 23 years? Richard answered for him. Henry, we know it's been a struggle. That's why this solution makes sense. There is no mortgage, I said. I paid cash for this house in 2001. Michael laughed nervously. Dad, that's not possible. The house cost $300,000. You were working at the warehouse. Where would you get that kind of money? Where would I get it? I repeated. The room was silent now. Michael, do you know which warehouse I work at? You never really talk about work. I work at Walsh Logistics' main distribution center in Irving, the one right off Route 114. Michael frowned. My company has an account with Walsh Logistics. We ship through them all the time. Interesting. Tell me, when you send shipments through Walsh Logistics, who do you think owns that company? See how Trevor, Michael's boss, spoke up. Walsh Logistics is privately held. Owner's name is... He pulled out his phone. Henry Walsh. Huh. Same name as you. That's because it is me, I said. The silence was absolute. Michael stared at me. What? I own Walsh Logistics. I founded it in 2007 after selling my first company. We operate 48 warehouse facilities in 12 states. Current valuation is approximately $72 million. Sophia made a choking sound. That's not possible. You drive a truck from the 90s. I pulled out my flip phone. Would you like to see the company dashboard? I opened an app that most people wouldn't expect on a flip phone. Real-time tracking, revenue, fleet management. Today's gross revenue across all facilities, I scrolled down, $216,000. Richard Morrison had gone pale. You're Henry Walsh? The Henry Walsh from Walsh Logistics? The one we've tried to acquire your Irving facility for 3 years? You've refused every offer. Because I'm not selling. Well, I amended. I wasn't selling. Actually, Robert Patterson, do you know him? Richard nodded numbly. We compete for contracts constantly. I sold him the Irving facility yesterday. Transaction closed at 4 p.m. He takes possession Monday morning. Tom, Michael found his voice. You sold the warehouse where I work? I sold the building your company leases space in, yes. Trevor looked sick. Walsh Logistics owns our warehouse space. Our lease is up for renewal in August. Patterson Industries tends to renegotiate rates aggressively, I said. I expect your shipping costs will increase substantially, probably 40%. Patricia Morrison grabbed her husband's arm. Richard, didn't you just tell Michael your dealerships ship all their parts through that facility? All 3 dealerships? Our entire logistics chain runs through Irving, Richard confirmed, his voice a whisper. Well, I said, you might want to talk to Robert Patterson about securing new terms, though I understand he's less flexible than I was. Trevor stared at his phone. His face had gone white. Our CFO just texted. Patterson Industries sent new lease terms. $55,000 a month up from $32,000, plus additional fees for, he scrolled, premium dock access, expedited processing, after-hours loading. Jesus, that's an extra $400,000 a year. Michael grabbed my arm. Dad, you can't do this. Can't do what? Own a business? Run it how I see fit. Sell property to qualified buyers? I sold the Irving facility because Robert Patterson offered me $38 million, and I accepted. The fact that your employer leases space there is incidental. But you knew it would hurt Michael's company. I knew it would affect the operational costs of a company where my son works, yes. Whether that hurts them depends on how they manage the situation. Sophia was scrolling frantically on her phone. Henry, she said, voice shaking. Are you Walsh Logistics, the private company that's been buying up distribution centers across the South? Bloomberg wrote about you. They called you a ghost mogul. I prefer low profile, I said. This whole situation, all the assumptions Michael and Sophia made, it was a perfect example of what people talk about in videos like the $70 million secret, how I live on a warehouse worker's salary. Michael sat down hard. This doesn't make sense. You live like someone who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, I finished. Michael, when's the last time you asked about my work? About my day? About anything in my life that wasn't convenient for you to know? He opened his mouth and closed it. I'll wait, I said. The room waited with me. Sophia broke the silence. But the house? You let us think. You let me think you were struggling. I never said I was struggling. You assumed. You saw an old truck in work clothes and decided you knew everything about my financial situation. But I'm your son, Michael said. I should have known. Should you? When's the last time you visited without wanting something? When's the last time you called just to talk? When's the last time you asked if I needed help instead of assuming I did? Michael looked at his hands. I don't remember. Patricia Morrison tried to recover. Henry, surely you understand. Michael and Sophia were just trying to look out for your best interests. By threatening legal action if I didn't sign over my house, Richard's brother sent those papers. Richard shifted uncomfortably. We thought you might need guidance. Guidance. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. First Republic Trust account balance as of this morning, $41.3 million. I opened another screen. Investment portfolio, $12.7 million. Real estate holdings beyond the logistics facilities. Another $18 million in residential and commercial properties. Total liquid net worth, $72.1 million. Give or take what the market did today. Trevor was there first to stand. Michael, I think we should go. Within 10 minutes, the house had cleared. Only Michael, Sophia, Richard, and Patricia remained. Henry, Richard tried one last time. Perhaps we should discuss this privately. There's nothing to discuss. You tried to intimidate me into giving up my property. You failed. Now you're dealing with increased business costs because I sold an asset to a qualified buyer. That's just business. But our dealerships, the shipping costs, not my problem. You should have considered that before your attorney brother sent threatening letters to a man who owns half the distribution capacity in North Texas. Michael finally looked at me. Dad, why didn't you tell me? Because, Michael, I wanted to know who would value me for who I am, not what I have. Your mother and I decided when you were young that we'd live modestly, let you build your own success, see if you'd become the kind of person who judges others by their character instead of their bank account. His voice got small, and I failed. You tried to steal my house because you thought I was too poor and too stupid to stop you. That's a pretty definitive fail. That's not, Michael started. That's exactly it, Sophia interrupted, crying. We thought we were helping, but really we just wanted the house. We wanted the equity. We wanted to look successful to our friends. I stood up. I need you both to leave now. Dad, please. The property transfer documents I signed yesterday transfer this house to the Walsh Family Trust. As of this morning, you're listed as a temporary resident with a 60-day notice requirement. You'll receive formal eviction notices tomorrow. Eviction, Sophia whispered. You're evicting us from your house? No, I said. I'm evicting you from my guest house. You've been living in the converted garage apartment for 2 years. The one I let you stay in rent-free while you save for your own place. The one you somehow convinced yourselves was yours. Michael, you've been living in my guest house for 2 years. The main house has always been my residence. The immediate aftermath. Richard blustered. This can't be legal. It's entirely legal. Margaret Chen, my attorney, made sure of it. I called Margaret right then. She confirmed everything over speakerphone. The separate residence, the month-to-month occupancy agreement, the 60-day notice. Sophia protested. But we've been paying rent. No, Margaret's voice corrected. You've been making monthly payments to cover utilities and maintenance. Those payments were $300 a month. Market rate for that apartment would be at least $1,800. Henry has been subsidizing your housing for 2 years. Michael's face had gone from red to white. Dad, we have nowhere to go. You have 60 days to figure it out, I said. The Morrisons left without another word. Michael and Sophia sat in my living room in my house, looking completely lost. Dad, I'm sorry. Michael finally spoke. I know. Are you really going to make us leave? I'm going to make you learn what things cost, Michael. For 2 years, you've lived nearly free while criticizing how I live, while planning to take my property, while treating me like a burden. Now you have to figure it out. What about my job, the shipping costs? Talk to your boss about budget adjustments, or find a new job. Companies are always hiring. That's what you'd tell me to do if I was struggling, right? Just work harder. Michael stood up. This isn't over. Actually, I think it is. You can be angry at me. You can tell everyone I'm a cruel father. But at some point, you need to ask yourself why you thought it was acceptable to take someone's home, even if that someone was your own father who you thought couldn't stop you. They left just after midnight. My phone started buzzing a little while later. I'd forgotten about Sophia's Instagram. She'd gone live. 14,000 followers watched her have a complete breakdown in their BMW. You guys, everything I thought I knew was a lie. My father-in-law isn't poor. He's worth $72 million. And we just tried to take his house from him. The comments exploded. The viewer count climbed to over 4,000 people watching my daughter-in-law realize what she'd done. She lost all control, telling the entire story. He sold a warehouse just to teach Michael a lesson. It cost Michael's company hundreds of thousands. Michael tried to get her to turn it off, but she refused. No, my followers need to know what entitled brats we've been. We tried to evict my father-in-law from his own house. We sent lawyers. We threatened him. And he just... She laughed bitterly. He just made 3 phone calls and took away everything. By morning, clips were everywhere. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Designer daughter-in-law tries to steal from secret millionaire Fael went completely viral in the worst way. The weeks of silence. The next 3 weeks were the longest of my life. This is the period that felt like a painful, drawn-out silence. It wasn't a quick jump in time. It was a heavy weight. I didn't hear a word from Michael or Sophia. I didn't reach out to them. I needed the quiet. I needed them to think. I didn't drive by their guest house, and I stayed off social media, though Robert Patterson would occasionally call to give me updates on the gossip spreading through the business world. I spent those weeks reflecting on my decision. Was I being cruel? The world would certainly think so, but my intent was always to save the man Michael could be from the entitled man he had become. Entitlement is a prison, and I had just opened the door. Letting a 32-year-old man with a good education and a healthy body struggle for 2 months to find a new place to live and a new job is not cruel. It is a necessary teaching moment that I, as his father, had avoided for too long. I needed the lesson to sink in. I needed them to reach their own bottom. Michael and Sophia stayed quiet. The viral videos faded into internet history. The true apology. Then, one Saturday morning, Michael and Sophia both showed up. No BMW this time. They'd come in a Honda Civic that looked like a rental. Michael wore jeans and an old t-shirt. Sophia had her hair in a simple ponytail, no professional styling. They looked younger somehow and more real. Dad, can we talk? Michael asked. Of course. Come in. They sat in my living room, the main house they'd never actually lived in. Sophia spoke first. Henry, I wrote something. I wanted to read it to you if that's okay. Go ahead. She pulled out a piece of notebook paper. Henry, 3 weeks ago, I tried to take your house because I thought I deserved it more than you did. I thought you were a simple man who got lucky, and I was a sophisticated person who earned success. I was wrong about everything. Her voice was steady. I spent my adult life measuring worth by price tags. Your truck was cheap, so you must be poor. My BMW was expensive, so I must be successful. I never asked what it cost you to pay for Michael's education, his wedding, the countless times you helped us without us even noticing. I never said thank you because I thought you owed us everything. She folded the paper. I'm not asking you to take us back. I'm not asking for money or help or anything else. I'm asking for a chance to learn how to be people you could be proud of. Michael added, we both got jobs. I'm working at a marketing firm, entry level, $42,000 a year. Sophia's working at a furniture store, selling and learning about the business. We found an apartment in Arlington, $900 a month. It's small, but it's ours. We're paying for it ourselves. Sophia continued, we've been learning to cook, to budget, to live on what we actually make instead of what we thought we deserved. It's hard, Henry, but it's also honest. For the first time in my life, I know exactly what things cost, what I'm worth, and what I can actually do. I looked at my son. Michael, what have you learned? That I don't know how to do anything, he said. Honestly, you raised me comfortable. You paid for everything, and I never asked what that cost you. Not just money, time, energy, choices you didn't make because you were busy taking care of me. I'm 32 years old and I'm just now learning how to live like an adult. That's on me, not you. Michael pulled out his own paper. Dad, I also wrote something. I learned that being a man isn't about having a big title or expensive things. It's about working hard, keeping your word, and not expecting the world to hand you anything. You showed me that every day, and I was too arrogant to see it. You weren't arrogant, I said. You were entitled. There's a difference. Entitled means you think you deserve things just for existing. Arrogant means you think you're better than others. You just genuinely believe the world owed you success because you went to business school and married well. And now, he nodded, now I know better. Now I'm grateful for a $42,000 a year job because I earned it myself. I'm grateful for a $900 apartment because it's ours. I'm grateful you're even willing to talk to us. I looked at them both. Really looked. For the first time in years, I saw the people I'd hoped they'd become. Would you two like to stay for dinner? Their faces lit up. Really? Really? But you're cooking, I said. I don't do delivery anymore. They both laughed. We'd love to. We can help. I cook now, not well, but I try, Sophia offered. We made spaghetti together in my kitchen. Sophia burned the garlic a little. Michael overcooked the pasta, but we laughed about it. We ate at my old kitchen table, the one I'd built when Michael was 5. No phones, no Instagram, no performance. Just dinner. As they were leaving, Michael hugged me, the first real hug in years. Dad, thank you for everything, for the house I got to grow up in, for the education you paid for the lesson you taught me, even though it hurt. Most of all, for not giving up on me. I haven't given up, I said. I've just stopped doing the work you need to do yourself. I'll see you next week. Same time. After they left, I sat on my back porch and watched the stars come out. I pulled out my flip phone and called Robert Patterson. Robert, about that entry-level position we discussed? The warehouse floor job? Yeah? Cancel it. Michael doesn't need it. He's doing fine on his own. You sure? Robert asked. He could use the experience. He's getting the right experience. He's learning to make it without me. That's worth more than any job I could give him. Fair enough, Robert said. For what it's worth, Henry, what you did took guts. Most people wouldn't have the strength to let their kids struggle. It's not about strength, I said. It's about knowing that the best gift you can give someone isn't money or property or even opportunity. It's the chance to discover who they are when they have to earn everything themselves. Sometimes the only way to give someone everything is to first take everything away. 3. The attractive call to action. CTA. And that's the end of the story, at least for now. If this video gave you something to think about, If you've ever had to teach someone a tough lesson, or if you just appreciate a story about quiet wealth and real consequences, then please give this video a like right now. And if you want to keep hearing stories about the truth behind the titles, about things that are real and unscripted, then hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. You'll be joining the unscripted test community. Thank you for watching.